Say yeah, it feels good, don't it? Damn, it feels good to have people up on it. Say yeah.
Welcome, everyone, to Community Chronicles, a DDPY community video interview series. My name is Anthony Vignes. This is episode 26 of season whatever, the current season of Community Chronicles, and I'm super pumped. My guest for this episode is the one and only master orator, master of the stage, master of the kitchen, master of positivity, the one and only Josh Kiev. Welcome, Josh.
Hey, good to see you. Good to see you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We're looking forward to this one. I mentioned in my last episode that I'm not doing these on a regular schedule anymore. I'm just waiting.
Gotcha.
I'm waiting for the abracadabra, right? For someone to reach out and grab you. And
Okay.
Josh Kiev, with Josh's energy, does exactly that.
Bring the sizzle.
And he's got, so not only is he just a hell of a fun guy to talk to, he's got a pretty cool backstory too. So Josh, why don't you give us, let's try and keep it to the VHS sleeve version of
Sure.
how you came to find DDPY and what that program has done for you since you've committed.
So you got it. All right. So it starts with, as most things, a hairdresser. I've been seeing the same hairdresser for about 8 years. And, we would always talk about, how we're eating, what fitness programs we're doing, this and that, what have you. So, and it would always kind of end up you gain, you lose, you gain, you lose. And so, but we never gave up. So we had that going. So one day I go in there for a haircut and she mentions DDPY yoga. I'm like, oh, okay, I've heard of that. I used to watch wrestling, a number of years ago. And I was like, oh, Dallas Page. Okay, great. So then, I just put it in memory banks. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then I think it also triggered, I had seen Resurrection, number of years back, got emotional. But like a lot of times, a lot of things, I watched it, I thought about it, and then I went on to do something else, and you just forget about it. You put it on the shelf and you go wander into something else. But this time was a little different because shortly after that, I got COVID. Got COVID in February of 2021, and it was pretty bad. And at the time, I was near 400 pounds, and you're hearing people obese or dropping. So I was like, that scared me. So I took the antibodies, got that, felt a little better, but I was starting to get things like going up the stairs, I'd run out of breath, and and I just kind of got scared, and I couldn't do anything for more than 5 minutes, And the irony is I was sort of doing some yoga moves and things like that, but I couldn't do it for 5 minutes. I'd run out of breath, and I'd get some serious pain. So, towards the end of that, when I was still fearful, I was getting a little better. I said, you know what? I made a pact. I said, if I pull through this, I'm not leaving this earth at 400 pounds. I'm not going to do it. And that stuck with me. And then I said, all right, well, what are you going to do? And I said, all right, what's this DDP yoga thing? So I said, okay. So I looked up YouTube, found a Stevie Richards video, beginner. I said, okay, I'm going to do that. I'm going to eat whatever. I don't, whatever's in the house. I don't do any plan. I'm going to do that for a week, see what happens, and do my little homemade yoga, which was I think cat lift, cat arch, or something like that. So did that for a week, 3 times maybe, and end of the week, I lost 6 pounds. I'm like, okay. All right. So then I said, all right, I'm going to do this. And I got the DVDs. And then like a lot of us, I see folks' stories, got the DVDs, getting excited. Okay, cool. And you put the heart monitor on and you're like, hey, where's the heart monitor? It's like, wait a minute. And you got an app and it's like, no, I'm not doing all this. And then you get pulled into the app and then you start doing the app. And then you explode.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just follow it and that's why I get so excited. It's like everything becomes a how-to. It's like, okay, what are you doing? And you do that. You have no idea. You're doing things. You don't know how it's going to turn out. And like I said, that first week, I'm like, yeah, here's something. I'm going to fail again. Great. And this come from, Captain Positivity, but I'm like, this ain't going to work. All right. Yeah, right. And I just didn't stop. What was the second part? But the other question was, so that's the origin. And then I just went off with it. And so what, I'm trying to think, what was the other part you were asking?
We're just asking, well, that's how did you get here, and what has it done for you since?
Gotcha. See, oh, okay, yeah, okay. I was trying to understand. So I start that, and like a lot of my friends I share, it really hits you in 90 days is when you turn it on. You can stick with it for 90 days. I tell people all the time, it's like, yeah, it's going to stink. Take the pictures. And, I didn't. There was months I didn't. I took some. I definitely didn't take all 4 because you see, I see roundhouse. I'm not going to be able to do that. I mean, I'm not going to be able to, I've been a big person all my life. Big people don't do that. They don't do that. It does, we don't climb rocks. We don't know. And then you see the crow. It's like, yeah, right. People don't balance on their hands, but stuck with it. And got nutrition in because the two work synonymous. It's like once you start feeling great, then you want to avoid, or you start seeing results. It's like, well, I want to grow that, So, and then also like most folks, I mean, because you have dramatically switched what you're doing, you do lose a lot of weight. It's not a weight loss program; it's a life gain program. I always tell it's a life gain, it's not weight loss. That just happens as it's like a symptom or after effect, but you do lose a lot, and that's what gets people psyched. 20, 30. I mean, yeah, the first month, I think it was 20 pounds, 24 pounds, because then you got to, you start focusing on, well, I want to do these moves. So then, you kind of start inching away, and it's 90 days. And in 90 days, something usually wonderful happens. And I'll tell you what mine was. And you didn't ask a question, but I'm in your head now. NSV, the first NSV that hit me that said, this is where I'm going to be for the rest of my days. I was on a plane. And, I get in a plane and I'm like, whatever, we'll give it a shot. And I zip that seatbelt. I mean, we're talking seatbelt extenders for decades. And I just said, yeah. And it was over with right there. So, I mean, and then you start seeing muscles. It's like, we're not supposed to have abs. Wait a minute. You're not supposed to do that. And then as you go on and further, you demand them. You say, like, no, you're gonna have them, and you're not going anywhere. And you grab a hold of them, and it's just, it's just an emotional journey. And you do challenges and this and that, and you see people, and you just start connecting. And I mean, it's just, like most people who stick with it, you become obsessed. And for me, I'm an addict, and that that's got me in trouble in the past. But it's like, well, this is something I don't mind being addicted to. It's like, it's a positive addiction. It's like, it runs me 24/7. It's, one of the most important things I do when I wake up, one of the most important things I do when I'm, go to sleep. And that's just, for me, that's the key.
Yeah. It's not a bad thing to get addicted to at all. And as I'm sitting here listening, this could be me telling the same story.
Sure.
How I similar to how I got started. I never did DVDs, right? I went to on demand first, I think. But once I got into the app, I'm like, oh my God, there's all of this stuff. Well, then I suppose I better go find a cheap heart rate monitor, and I better get a better mat, and I better, check out the community. And then shortly after I started, I joined one of Tom Wallen's 100-day challenges.
Oh, nice.
So then right away, I'm like, well, I told these guys I would do it for 100 days. So I got to stick with it that long.
Exactly.
And it was the same thing. By the time that 100 days was up, I'm like, all right, when's the next one?
Yeah.
I've since learned the value of a rest day. But yeah, I was going hard every day for quite a while there. And it was because I didn't feel like I had to. I wanted to. It's that you start talking about those little things, it starts with not needing the seatbelt extender, and then I've got muscle showing through, and little by little, a little improvement every time. Next thing you know, well, I got to get some new pants. I can't keep these pants up anymore.
Oh, see, I call those, I call it clothes wars. You win in the clothes wars.
And so what they call that in the cheesy leadership book industry is the aggregation of marginal improvements, right? You get little tiny improvements day after day that add up over time into gigantic change.
Oh, it's crazy.
It's so easy to get addicted to those scale numbers, that'll change 10 pounds every time you step on there.
Yeah, I got theories on that too.
That wears off. You can't just lose weight forever because you only got so much. And your body's going to adapt. It's going to slow down. And if that's your only metric for success and to whether or not what you're doing is the thing to do, you're going to give up. Yeah. And that's sadly what happens to some people who can't escape that scale and do the mental work and appreciate the other aspects, the changes in how they look, most importantly, how you feel.
Yes.
If you can focus on that, then the sky's the limit.
Exactly.
And the app teaches you how to do the physical work, but it's really, I feel, the community that teaches you how to do the mental and emotional work.
I agree. Breaking down mental scar tissue. That's what it's all about.
Absolutely. So I just, we know that you are your alter ego, right?
Yes.
Captain Positivity.
Correct.
Has to come from somewhere. How did you get to become an actor?
An actor, great question. So, along the lines of, so when I started out, first I had a degree in psychology. I went to Brown and played football and track.
Fancy.
Well, thank you. Yeah, fancy. So I went there and did psychology, and I was like, well, what am I going to do next? So I was a social worker, case manager, but it wasn't quite. At the end of the day, it wasn't quite, sustaining me or filling me up, And so one day, I'm living in Boston, and I instead of going straight or taking a left, I decided to go straight, and because I knew there was a culinary school down the road. And I was like, I'm just going to go in there. So I go in there, culinary school, look around, get it up, and then boom, I'm a chef. So then I'm a chef for 20 years, and I'm loving it. And then dealing with some other things too, some hard times as we go through. And then so I ended up doing that for 20 years, and it was wonderful. But at the time, because I struggled with drinking, being a chef is very demanding. So, draining. So what happened, what I noticed was like all these things, it was draining me, but it wasn't filling me back up. And obviously sometimes you drink and you think you can substitute that, but that's not the case. So I said, so then one day, and for years people saying you better you need to quit and do this, but that's the thing about addiction. That's the thing about this program. You can't get anyone to do anything. You can't change anyone, spouses, friends, family. You can mention it to them. They have to make that decision. So one day I said, I'm bored. I'm tired of this. I don't feel good. I don't want to drink anymore. But I said, you've been doing this for 25 years. You're going to need something to do because that was a part-time job, right? So I said, okay. So I went out and did one of those aptitude tests and said, well, I probably need another career or something, because I know drinking, being a chef, I didn't want to be a chef anymore, staying up late, this and that. Plus, wears your body out, and I wasn't in the best shapes. So, but number one was sales. I said, I like to talk, and I can, I never tried it, and I said, I don't know. Number two was actor. So I said, okay, I want to be an actor. How do you do that? So the first thing I do is I go to, who knows everything, Google. You go to Google, say, Google, tell me what I need to do. And it says, I was 40s at the time, because, it said I did some plays in high school and stuff, but nothing I, really pursued. And so it's the first thing that pops up is boom. Gene Hackman started, he was one of my idols. Gene Hackman started, later in life, getting roles and things like that. So it's like, okay, well, Gene Hackman can do it. I love Gene Hackman. I can do it. Then I said, well, what do you want to do? So my wife worked at a university. So then I went to Belmont here in Nashville. And I said, you know what? I'm going to, because I'm going to get a BFA in performance. Now, the good news is, because like I said, the universe is always watching you if you holler at it. I probably, this would be pursuing third degree, and I probably wouldn't, probably too, there was no funds for that. But since she's an employee, boom, free. And so I went there, and I'm working, learning all the basics, the rudiments, your Chekhov, Shakespeare, all this kind of stuff, stage movement. And I'm feeling really good. I'm not drinking, and I'm the type of person that's like, once I shut it off, it's gone. But I'm going to let, being an addict, other things come in. So I focused all my energy on doing shows and studying and going to school and, killed it, graduated, but not doing the physical. So there were times, that's why, I apologize to my old self all the time. It's like, I could barely move on the stage. And and it's like you're sweating, your clothes are soaked, can't get on the ground. And like most things, you kind of make the shot and say, yeah, I can't do that. And then you start selling it to yourself, saying, well, you know what, I'm an actor, I don't have to be fit. And that's like farthest from the truth. You got to have You got to have a strong constitution. You got to be able to move. Oh, well, theater is an old or young person's game. Like, no, it's not. The lies you tell yourself. So didn't do that. So I was moving along, but I still felt awful. I looked like, I didn't look good. I didn't look good, didn't feel good. And, I got an agent and stuff like that, but it's like nothing, it's like, it's minimal. And I know it was good. I mean, I'm basically the same person, but, I don't feel and I don't look right. So the program too kind of helped me and said, you know what, I gotta get fit. I said, if I'm going to do this because, I say, Sanford Meisner, a famous acting teacher, said it takes 20 years to be an actor. It's like, shoot, 20 years, I'm going to be like 70. It's like, I got to be able to move, give or take. So I said, I started doing that. And I mean, it just started, it's funny, the goals too, when I first started, you do SmackDown, I said, I want to be the next action hero. Because you don't know. But I'm saying, like, you got to quantify it better than that. So eventually I came up with better ones, obviously more physical or moves or this or that. But ever since, because I've been doing this for about 16 months, DDPY for 16 months, I mean, got new headshots, lost 88 pounds. Still after that C note. But on the same time, remember the scale, it's like, whatever scale, you go over there. But the first day I get a new headshot, boom. There's auditions and there's like, oh yeah, we want auditions for this. So it's like you're moving from, the heavy guy, the sweaty guy. I mean, I literally had a role since sweaty guy. I'm just saying, that's just fact, But now it's like going to, okay, I'm a big guy, I'm a fit guy, that kind of thing. So that's the goal now. And I do a lot of regional theater, things like that. I haven't quite broken into TV and film, but I'm going to. So that's the end of that. I just don't care. I mean, it's going to happen, and if it doesn't, then I also don't care. I mean, that's just me. That's where Captain Positivity is born from. It's like we're just gonna fight it. We're just gonna turn that negativity. We're not gonna allow it. Let me go off a little tangent, reel me back in if you want. But it's like, what, politics and the world is burning. That's great because it's like I'm sad and I'm thinking, but I'm not allowing that to come into our space. I'm just gonna say I'm gonna deal with what I want to, but it's like you must maintain. I find beneficial, this positive mind space, because worrying about it or getting on and scrolling through it for hours and day and destroying yourself doesn't serve you. Mm-hmm. That's it, period. That's just facts. It does not serve you.
I agree. I mean, I think you have to know enough about it to be aware that it's a thing so you can be empathetic to people who do stress out over it.
Absolutely.
But I've had this conversation with people before. I've watched the news for 38 years. I haven't seen a good episode yet. Right. And so I choose not to pay that much attention. And when they argue that this is real life, I say, whose? Right. It's real life if you find yourself getting absorbed in all of it. I know, yes, there's pain, blues, and agony all over the world, and that sucks. Sure. I'm aware of that. It doesn't make me happy.
No.
I choose not to do things that don't make me happy.
Right.
That's how I avoid it. And so I focus on my little corner of the universe where I can make a difference. Right. It's a matter of perspective. All that terrible stuff you see on the news all the time. What are you going to do to change it? If you're not going to do anything to change it, then don't fret over it. It's going to be beyond your control because you're not attempting to change it. I'm going to focus on the things where I can make a dent and where I can make the world just a little bit better place. Maybe for less people, but I'm still making it a better place for somebody.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm all for it. Take that negative energy somewhere else.
Yes.
Right? I don't need it. I'll create my own when I need it.
Right.
So yeah, I'm all for that. And as far as the acting, I don't think people ever realize, especially a stage actor, that could be a cardio workout. You're makeuped up. You got a costume on. You're under the hot lights. You're playing to the back row. So you got to be able to enunciate to people hundreds of feet away from
you.
And you got to move.
Projection.
There aren't that many roles where you're just, laying in the bathtub on stage.
Right.
You got to be able to get up and move around too, and remember what you're doing and control your breath and all of those things.
Big time.
But it makes sense to me. I didn't mention the chef part. I figured you would.
Right.
2 creative outlets there.
Yeah.
So it's not just you got work with a purpose when you're a chef. You're feeding people, but it's also a creative outlet. You get a chance
to make it Always.
And so, yeah, I find that really cool. You decided I don't like what I'm doing. What do I want to do? Well, I'll go cook. Well,
Yeah.
I did this for 20 years. I'm bored with it now. It's not the healthiest thing for me.
Right.
What would I like to do? And
Yeah.
you went and did it. I mean, that's awesome. So many of us sit there and go, you know what I would really love to do for a living. And then we just sit there and talk about how we
I
really
know
love
it's
it.
hard.
And we go right back to the same old desk and go, man, I wish it was over here, wakeboarding right now.
Right.
Yeah, I admire that.
Well, thank you. One of my favorite questions to ask people is I come to them new and old. I said, what do you want to do when you grow up? And most of them will say, I don't know. I said, that's fine. We don't always know. But sometimes they do. And I'm like, go do that. Go do that. There's no rules.
Yeah, exactly. I still tell people when I grow up, I want to teach. Right.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter what I'm teaching. I enjoy that experience.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Of those aha moments.
Yes.
Whatever the subject matter is, I'm a safety guy by trade. So I do a lot of boring safety training. But when I can connect that to what the people are doing and I see that light go off behind their eyes that, oh, yeah, I do that thing.
Right.
And now I can understand what could happen if I do this thing in a certain way. Exactly. It's the little things, but I teach basic economics as a volunteer to elementary schoolers.
Awesome.
I have to take the remedial course myself, so I don't know the subject matter all that well. Yeah. But it's the same thing with them. When you see them understand, that's my motivation. So I want to teach anything. Doesn't mean I got to be a teacher. Yeah. So then I find ways to do that thing. It's very cool. And I still can't wait to grow up.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm still trapped. That's why age isn't anything. So, I was saying just turned 50 in May. And it's like, what does that feel? It's like, I couldn't tell you because I feel better when I was 20. So I don't know what 50 feels like. Maybe one day, when I'm 80, I'll know what it feels like. I don't today.
Yeah, you can ask my wife. She's got 3 children here.
Right.
She's the only adult in the house.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm still stuck in junior high. It's 7 parts. Oops.
All right. Well, in the interest of trying to keep, this has been great. I knew that we could just get you on here and just roll with it, and this dude would fill us up. But we always just want to tease the community with our guests because we don't want your whole, epic 8-part series. We want a reason, a motivation for them to reach out to you,
right,
and get to know you a little better. Because you never know, you might find yourself another tribe member. You might make a new friend.
Oh, always looking.
So, what do you say we roll into some rapid fire questions?
Let's do it.
All right. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm always ready.
Okay. What was the first car you ever bought?
It's a Honda Accord 82 Blue.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Your favorite role you've ever played on stage?
Oh, favorite role. An Amish father.
The best dish you ever made?
Ooh. Best dish ever made was see, there's so many. I know you got you got to get stumped a little bit. But no, no, it wasn't that. I would say hoisin glazed short ribs with like an Asian slaw and some broccolini or asparagus, something like that. Yeah, because I love Southeast Asian stuff.
Salivating over here.
Oh yeah.
Who is your favorite DDPY instructor?
Oh, I'm branching. It's always been Dallas, and I get real attached. But I'm starting to really like, and I'm messing the question up. Hayden and Yoga Doc, and Paige scares me because she tries to destroy it, but she's wonderful.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's kind of a trick question.
It is
because it's all a matter of, well, what are you looking for?
Right.
Because they all hit a little different, and they're all great. What was the last song you danced to?
Oh, I remember everything. It was Dynamite by Tayo Cruz.
What is your biggest pet peeve?
Ooh, meanness.
I'll try to be nice. Who would play you in your biopic?
Oh, God, that's a great one. Because I would say I would love to see. Wow, gosh, that's a good one. Because I don't have a ton of Hollywood likenesses. Although I can pick them out for others. But Go with John Lithgow. Let's go.
Ooh, good one. I like John Lithgow.
Yeah.
All right. It's Saturday morning. Young Josh is stuck in front of the TV. Are you watching cartoons or pro wrestling?
I'm all over cartoons.
What was your favorite cartoon?
Probably, let's see, Thunder the Barbarian.
Oh, love it. I love it. What is the worst advice you ever received?
The worst advice, gotcha, is, go to school and, go to a fancy school and you'll make lots of money.
You'll owe lots of money. No guarantee.
There's that too. Still do.
Yes. What's the best advice you've ever received?
Best advice, I got to split it up. I know I hate dual answering you, but was from people that I've never met, but I've seen him. One was Conan O'Brien. And I remember I came across Conan O'Brien. He said, be kind, work really hard, and amazing things will happen. And that's all I continue to see. And then the other kind of link to it is Jim Carrey was talking about, he said, you can fail what you don't want. So why not take a chance and do what you love?
That's awesome. Those are both awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, I had to because I play them all the time.
I love it.
Throw them out there.
I love it. All right. Well, you survived the rapid fires.
Yes.
We tried to keep it original, right?
That was good. Yeah.
Josh was investigating. I said, no, these are going to be different.
I know. I had notes. It's like my notes is no good.
All right. Well, then the next thing we do is we wrap up the show here, as I want you to pick at least one member of the DDPY community that you think deserves a little bit of love. Pick somebody.
You know what? Once again, I won't know, but I mean, it's like I almost would say it's almost everyone I come across, because I mean everybody's worthy and there's so many. But I and you want to do one, but just leave out. But I would say, as of today, and it switches every day. Diane, I think I'll say it. Diane Custis Wilson, I call her the Iron Lady, continues to inspire me, and she's just fun. So she's getting a shout out. Iron Diane, it's for you.
All right. Yeah. Kick-ass grandma. Everybody's got to have a kick-ass grandma.
You got to. Yeah. No, it brings it.
Awesome. Well, Josh, the last thing we ask everybody to do is give us a bang to shut her down.
All right. Let's see if we can. Let's see if we. Wait a minute. What's going on here? Wait. We're under siege.
I know that.
Wait a minute.
I know that, Ray.
Greetings. It is Captain Positivity. Come to see your lovely.
Oh. Wonderful. I was hoping you'd make a cameo.
Great to see you, my friend. Bang!
All right. Thanks, everybody. Don't forget to do this tomorrow. That's a wrap.
Feeling great, and if you smile all the time, then your face gon' turn that way. Yeah, it feels good, don't it? Damn, it feels good to have people up